Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome back to Legendary Encounters, the X-Files, the deck building game. This is video part 3. If for some reason you're hopping in without checking out part 1 or 2, just a refresher. Part 1, we just went through the rules, how the game is kind of played, a brief breakdown of it, what was sort of difference between regular Legendary games, the Encounter games, and what sets this apart from the other Encounter games as well. Then part 2, we actually went through all the various hero characters and avatar cards and who you're going to get to play as. The crew of the X-Files, Fox, Mulder, Gadget, Rays, Skinner, a bunch of the other cool characters and all that. So in the third video here, we're going to go through the bad guys side. We're going to go through all the conspiracies. We're going to check the evidence, the leads, the strikes, all the bad stuff that can kind of happen to you or that you have to deal with, as well as the endgame cards. So we're going to go ahead and hop in that. Before we get into those, though, I realized in part 2 I forgot to look at the bureau. So we're going to look at this quick. So on here in the bureau, down here in the bottom of the playmat is, as you purchase cards from there, you have to pay the amount to scan them to reveal them. And then once you actually purchase them and recruit the cards, you get the special ability, depending on which spot they were in. So if we're in the field office transfer, you may put the card you gained on the top of your deck. So that's pretty nice to be able to do it. You get the same thing as recruitment drive, except you can put it on the bottom of your deck. So the top of your deck is really nice, because that way you're going to draw it on your next turn. Bottom of your deck, depending on how many cards are left in your deck, means you might draw it in a turn or two, or you might draw it in 4 or 5 turns. But at least it's quicker than waiting until it's in your discard pile, sometimes. Because again, if you get down to the bottom of your deck where it's like, oh, I have to draw 5 cards, and I draw 2 cards from my deck and the rest are from my discard pile, that might not be too much different, except you guaranteed you get it in those first 2, as opposed to having to shuffle your discard pile, and then it might be who knows where in there. In the third spot, we have the Fidelity, Bravery, and Integrity. Fidelity, Bravery, and Integrity. You may gain a belief. Interesting though, all of these are you may, and they're not forcing you to do these things. I gotta get these, but I don't know why you would never not want a belief card. And then the first 2 spots, you have motivational speech. You may defeat a doubt in your discard pile. Most of the time, there's no reason why you would not want to do this. I don't think there's any characters that gained bonuses from having doubts. And then the last one is basic first aid. You may heal your most recent strike, and that one just might not happen all the time. So at least one thing with these 2 is you may opt to not buy something from here. You may scan it and be like, oh, I'm going to hold off on that, especially if you have to keep like 1 or 2 cost card until you have a doubt or you have a strike you can heal. It might change your opinion on what you buy at what time, just based on that. The other 3, I don't honestly see why you wouldn't buy them. The only reason I could maybe see not wanting to get a belief or maybe not doing that right away is because let's say you already, for some reason, have built up like 3 or 4 beliefs. You may decide not to get another one because you can only activate it once per turn, I believe. So it might not be helpful to have like 4 or 5 in your deck at a time, because once you use them, they go away. But if you get too many, then they're just clogging up your hand every turn. But you can always play them to just draw a card at bare minimum. So it's, worst cases, it just recycles back into your hands. It's not just ever just sitting in there completely wasted. But that is that. So as long as we're talking about things that go into your deck, let's take a look at the Syndicate enemy cards. Alright, so we're going to hop into these guys. So these are the enemy cards that get shuffled into your agency, your academy deck. So they're ones that might pop up in the bureau when you stand, and then now you have to either deal with, or they're going to be clogging up your space, your board, letting you not purchase as many characters or recruit as many, or cause issues. So they're all going to be listed as Syndicate enemy. And this is just going to say it's different than like a regular enemy, which is just going to be called enemies. So only the ones that are in your bureau or your academy deck are called syndicate enemies. They'll still have different types: human, alien, spirit, things that will trigger off of various characters. So we have the third man. So he's going to cost 6 attack to beat. It says ongoing, players can't use bureau powers. So while this guy is out, he shuts off all the rest of those powers. So this is definitely a thing where you're going to want to try and get rid of him. There's probably very few reasons why you're ever going to keep any of these guys in here. We have Syndicate Elder, who's a human. It says it costs 6 stars to defeat. So you have to pay recruit to get rid of him. It says in the end, at a random priority 1 evidence, reveal it to the end game. So this guy comes out during the entirety of the game. He's not going to affect you at all. But if he's still there when the end pops up, also now there's going to be another priority 1 evidence revealed to the end game. So it's going to add something that's going to make the end game harder. And then once that pops out, then it doesn't matter if you defeat him or not, because it will still be out. We have another Syndicate Elder. So there's another one. It says I random priority 2, but he only costs 5. And then we have a third one, though, so at random 3, but he costs 4. So basically, the harder the priority, probably the worse it is, which I think they make them easier to deal with. We have an Alex Crick, who has ambush. Once enemies revealed, move him to the field. It's only cost 3, so it's not a ton to deal with. He won't stay in the bureau and cause you problems, but he is going to start attacking you right away. We have Noel Roher, who's an alien, even though it looks human. At the end, players can't activate characters. Oh, yeah, so if this guy is still out, he's going to make beating the end very hard. Although you could defeat him and get rid of him. Get rid of that effect. Director Scott Belvins. Reveal, add a conspiracy card to the shadows. So he just adds another card. So he comes out when this gets flipped over. You can add a card to this conspiracy, which could potentially push everything. So that could make some definite issues. Dana Foley, who can pay 3 recruit and 3 attack. Ongoing. Players other than Mulder can't be healed. Interesting. They're very specific. Cigarette Smoking Man. So he's like a famous character from the show. Reveal, defeat each lead. Ongoing. When a lead is revealed, defeat it. Oh, so that he's going to shut down whatever you're working on. And that means if you only have 3 leads, he's going to get rid of one of them at least. That could be bad for you. We have a bounty hunter shapeshifter who's an alien. He says, ongoing. Will characters, the green ones, can't be recruited from the bureau. So it doesn't cost much to be. He's only 3 recruit. But he's going to stop you from buying certain characters. And we have a bunch of different ones like that. We have one for tech characters, one for science characters, one for intelligence characters or intellect characters, and we have one for leadership characters. So one for each different kind. We also have the bounty hunter default form. It says cost 5 to beat. It says reveal the bureau. Reveal each card to this enemy. Or reveal each card next to this enemy. Defeat each character next to him. Cool. Well, I mean, it's cool because it's a neat effect, but it's going to suck for you because it's going to defeat lots of your cards so you can't get them. Then we have another version of default form, Bounty Hunter. It says in the bureau, cards can't be added to spaces next to this enemy. So he just stops you from adding new ones. You do recruit them, you don't replace them. Then we do have a true form of him, which costs 4 recruit and 2 attack. Defeat this enemy strikes you. So there's a thing. Can you afford a strike to free up a spot in your bureau, or do you just let him sit there and mess up your stuff? Crew Cutman. A bureau if there are no enemies in the field. This enemy strikes at the end of the strike phase. Gray-haired man. Reveal, defeat each informant. Ongoing. When an informant is revealed, defeat it. And then the last one is we have super soldiers, who are aliens, who have 6 to defeat, defeat, shuffle this enemy into the academy. So these guys are going to keep coming back no matter what. But at least you could get them off the board for a little bit. Alright. So those are the enemies we're going to have to face while running through our deck, which is fun. That's a neat mechanic of having kind of like a traitor tie that might pop up. This is a thing that's also neat to this game because none of the other encounter games use this, but it doesn't really make sense to have a bunch of different traitors. You could easily have, occasionally there might be some X-Men ones, legendary, that have a steam that adds an enemy into the deck that might pop up and mess with you, but they don't typically have like just a set of them. Yeah, that's kind of neat. Alright, then up next we have the strikes. We're going to take a look at these guys. So we have our basic strike, which is called a miss. So you get this, it does no damage. There's no damage, discard. And we have 1, 2, 3. We have 4 of those. We have 8 of the flesh wound. Doesn't have any special effect, but it does 1 damage. So like your characters, you have like somewhere like 10 to 14 health. So you can take a bunch of these, but, you know, they're going to add up over time. We have 7 fractures. This gives you 2. It's kind of neat, the like little medical thing. No damage on there. Then this one's like, oh, it's in his arm, which that's where it's showing here. Oh, he fractured his ankle. So that's kind of fun that they have little tiny things on there. And then it does have this up here. I don't know if that's like season 2, like episode 16, if that's what that's supposed to represent. We have 4 copies of the puncture, which gives you 3 damage. Get stabbed in the back. We have 5 copies of permanent damage. Only 1 damage, because if you survive the strike, your oldest strike becomes a scar. So a scar means unless you have specifically the one Scully card that heals scars, you can't heal this card. So always stay on there. We have 1 mortal wound, which does 5. So this won't come up as much, but if you get 5, that's going to take a bunch of damage off of you. Oh, I was wrong. We actually have, I said how many we have of each one. We have 1 extra miss, flesh wound, and puncture. So 1 more to each of those. They got mixed into the rest of the deck somehow. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 copies of shock. It only gives you 1, but you gain a doubt. So that's not the best thing to have either. And then the last one is we have 3 copies of fear. Gives you 4. It says any other player may reveal a belief in their hand to cancel this strike. So yeah, if someone has a belief, they can hopefully go. So you don't have to sacrifice it or anything, which is really nice. So you just have to be able to reveal it. But if nobody has it, you get hit with 4. Again, when you only have 10 to 14 hit points, yeah, 4 doesn't seem like much until after you've taken a second one. Or if you have guys that are hitting you multiple times in a row, you know, like two or 3 guys out there, and they start each hitting you for like 2 or 3 times a turn. 1 or 2 damage is going to add up very quick, and then a 4 can be like just a, you know, boom, you're done. All right, then we're going to look at stuff in the conspiracy deck. So we're going to start by looking at our informants that get popped in there. Now, informants don't have any special linked in any particular season. They just get shuffled and added 1 per each, I think per each season gets added. You get 3 of them in there. So we have Michael I'm going to mess up this name, Chrysoscu, who has an ongoing tech. Cards in the Bureau are free to recruit. Field, at the end of this turn, defeat this card. So basically, as long as the informants, the quicker you reveal them by standing the shadows, and the longer they stay in the shadows, the better they're going to be for you. They're going to really massively help your game. Also, all your tech cards are free. Is going to be very great. But if you don't reveal them until the end, or you only get them for 1 turn, or he pops into the field and gets revealed, then you don't get any bonus for it. We have Cassandra Spender. Ongoing. When a doubt is drawn, defeat it. Doubts can't be gained or resolved. Nice. That's helpful as well. We have X. Shadows. At the end of the turn, put a random lead from outside the game here, revealed, and then defeat this card. Ooh, so that's helpful too. Gives you an additional lead, so you get an extra chance to try and reveal some stuff. Even if you use that lead, and all you do with that lead is discover evidence, and you can use one of the regular ones to uncover it. We have Deep Throat. Ongoing, enemies have -1 attack and -1 recruit point, so it makes them easier to take out. Tina Mulder. Clean up. Before you draw a new hand, gain a belief. Nice. That's helpful. Manicured Man. Ongoing, when an event is revealed, discard it without resolving it, and then you draw 3 cards. And you get 3 cards. That is sweet. Martia Rubius? Ooh, that's an interesting last name. Ongoing, characters in the bureau cost 1 less to recruit. Jeffrey Spender. Ongoing, when a player gains a character from the bureau, they may use any bureau power instead. Ooh, that's interesting. So if you really need a belief, you don't have to buy that spot. Albert Hosteen. Ongoing, when a player draws a puncture or a fracture strike, cancel it. So a little bit more specific, but those are the 2 common ones you're probably going to get. Max Fing. Ongoing, when a card enters your shadows, you may reveal it. Ooh, so that could be very helpful. Billy Miles. Ongoing, human enemies can't strike. Field. At the end of this turn, defeat this card. The first defeat, shuffle this into the academy as a syndicate enemy alien human with 5 attack. Interesting. So even when he's accident, and then he goes into your becomes a syndicate enemy alien with 5 attacks. So then you have to defeat him, but he still has his ongoing effect, I would imagine. We have Suzanne Modesty. When a player gains a Lone Gunman card, draw a card. If the Lone Gunman weren't in the academy at the start of the game, players can recruit them from outside the game. That's neat. I like kind of like when that one's here, like this game's just built about the specific characters. When they have things that are sometimes referencing those characters. I wish I had more like every character I had one that did something that helped out one of the characters in a different way, like, oh, Mulder gains beliefs, or this, you know. Faceless Alien Rebels. Reveal. Defeat each syndicate enemy. Oh, that could be very helpful if timed right. Ongoing, when a syndicate enemy is revealed, defeat it. Anonymous Phone Call. Clean up. When a player draws a new card, they draw an extra card. That's always helpful. And our last one is Inside Informant. Ongoing. When you reveal, or when a card enters a bureau, you may reveal it. Nice. So I do like it also wasn't just like, we had that first guy, it's like everybody, or all text cards are free. I'm glad there wasn't one that was like, oh, here, this guy gets a free one for that. This guy gets a free one for that. So that's kind of nice that they made different ones for each one. Alright. Then the next type of extra card that gets added in are the leads. So we have Feeling Better Now. It says Discover Evidence. Heal at least 2 total damage from any player on a single turn. To feel at the end of the turn, each player gains a dealt, then defeat this card. And I think the field effect's going to be the same for all of them. If it seems to be that way, I probably won't read them all. But collect evidence, do it again, field at the end of this turn, defeat this card. And I think that's going to be the same. So I think the way these evidence cards or leads are going to work is you're going to have some discovery thing, which lets you find your evidence card. So if you like priority 1, lets you discover it so you can see what it is. And then you have to then collect it, which lets you remove it from the board so it doesn't trigger at the end step. But if these guys ever get to the field, you're going to get a dealt, it looks like. And if you collect them, do it again. Field at the end of the turn, defeat this card. So yeah, if you're collecting it, if you've already discovered it, at the end of the turn, each player gains a dealt, and then defeat this card. If it's at the field at the end of the turn and you haven't discovered it yet, you gain a dealt. So hopefully you can at least get it to other parts. You don't gain that doubt. Open to extreme possibilities. Play at least 8 cards in a single turn. And you have to do it again. So they're, like most of these, they aren't going to expect you to do all of these in the same turn you reveal it. They're not going to expect you to reveal this and then play 8 cards to discover it and then play 8 the next turn. But the thing is, if you're playing a 4-player game and there's only 5 spaces in the shadows, even if you reveal these on the first turn, that gives you 4 other turns to, assuming that every single time they get the shadows move, that only gives you 4 turns to do it, so 1 rotation. So it's like, you gotta hope your teammates can pick up the slack on some of these. Depending on how early they hit, some might be harder to do than others. I just like to find my partner. Discover evidence. Play at least 2 coordinate cards on a single turn. Cool. And I think that means you have to use 2 coordinate cards that somebody else is coordinating to you, because there's no way you can actually play 2 of them on a turn. Why don't you bill me? Defeat an enemy without using starter cards. So again, like this, like if you got this like first, second, third turn, it's probably be almost impossible to do unless you got a really weak enemy. But later in the game, shouldn't be an issue. Could have been the slightest touch. Take no damage during a strike phase. So this could be either getting a miss card where you take no damage, or you could have something that ignores taking damage. Every problem has a solution. Activate a belief. Very interesting. We have to follow orders. Use a class ability. So like most of these aren't too terribly difficult. I want answers. Defeat a syndicate enemy. Daylight's burning. Defeating enemy in the field. So like this one and the last one though, like defeat a syndicate enemy and defeat some in the field, it's just going to require them enemies appearing. If like this league pops up and there are no enemies in the field, then you have to basically not defeat enemies until they go into the field. So you have a chance to defeat them down there to try and do this. And the same thing like a syndicate, you have to hope a syndicate enemy pops up by recruiting stuff. And it's like you could potentially go 3-4 turns and never have a syndicate enemy pop up depending on where they are in the deck. So that's just interesting. These are not going to always be guaranteed to no matter what you have the chance to get them. Early in the game, they're going to be harder. Some it's just luck. They might not get the lucky stuff. Walking deeper into darkness, defeating enemy in the shadows. Questions answered with a question. Stand a space in the shadows and in the bureau on a single turn. So that one could be very easy to do, right? You could pick a... So if we look back at our board, you have a stand 2 and a stand 1. So it's 2 attack, 1 recruit. That could definitely be pretty easy to do. But again, it depends if you already don't have something in those spaces that's been stand. You can't stand an area that's been revealed. And lastly, we have I Need Your Help. Recruit 2 characters from the bureau on a single turn. Again, might be very easy to do, might be hard depending on how much they cost. Alright, then the cards that go with them are, of course, our evidence cards. So if we don't defeat these, discover these and then collect them, they're going to have bad stuff to make the ends harder to deal with. So here we have Metallic Gray Implant, which is at the end, all willpower cards have no text. So imagine having one color of your hand not be able to do anything. It's still going to have... it's just basically going to be useless. It's going to make it really hard if you play, especially if you play a lot of them. We have Binary Strings, which does the same thing for intelligence cards. Frozen Fetus, which does it for science cards. Prehistoric Meteorite. Starting cards have no recruit or attack, so it basically makes them useless. Partial Device, which makes your tech cards blank. Ice Core Samples. Players can't gain or activate beliefs, which could be very hard, if you really need those. Crash Spacecraft, players can't coordinate. There's a lot of coordinate cards in this set. The Data Disc, players can't use class abilities. Force Field, leadership cards have no text. So any of these ones is literally shutting off what your cards do. is going to be very bad. So these have all been priority 1 cards. So priority 1 is basically just trying to shut down various parts of your deck and make it hard. The only, I guess, kind of upside of the game is work generally, unless you get some of the guys that add extra stuff, is you're only going to have 1 priority 1 card out during the end. So if you get this one, it makes all your, if you reveal this fairly quickly, and you see it's going to make all your blue cards bad, you could just opt to not buy as many blue cards, right? And try and work around it that way. Or it's going to make all your starter cards go bad. Luckily, they only work during the end, when the end has appeared, so even if, so during the rest of the game, they're not going to matter. Then for priority 2 cards, which again, we'll only have 1 of these, we have a barcode implant. In the end has range. It strikes from the shadows, so it doesn't even need to wait till it gets all the way to the end, or the field. Retrovirus. The end game has double strike. It strikes an additional time, so it's going to hit you twice as hard. Hidden boxcar. The end game has runner. At the end of the conspiracy phase, it moves another space. It's going to get to the field quicker, plus push everything. Dental tracking device. The end has ferocious. Each time it strikes, if the strike is a miss, it strikes again. Paranoia gas. The end has ambush. When it's revealed in the shadows, move it to the field. Medical records. The end has swift. When a player fights it, it strikes them first. So it could potentially take you out before you have a chance to do damage. Experimental baby. The end has apprehend. Players must use recruit instead of attack to fight it. Shapeshifter footage. The end has stealth. It can't be fought in the shadows. And then last we have genetics lab. The end has maul. When this end game strikes, instead of drawing the strike, gain the top card of the strike deck as a scar. Ooh, that's mean. You don't have to worry about getting a 4 or 5, but you're going to be harder to heal that back up too. So that's neat. So priority 1 shuts down certain parts of your deck. Priority 2 is going to dictate how the end is going to try and attack and defeat you. And then for priority 3, we have autopsy video. The end has +2 health. The digital tape. The end can't be fought if the team resolved a doubt this turn. Unknown metal weapon. The end has +2 defense, so it's going to take that many more hits before it can take a strike. Infant interloper. The end game can only be fought once each turn. Ooh, so that means 4 or 5 player game. Only 1 person can fight it. Torn fingernail. The end has +1 defense and +1 health. Curious artifact. Players can't play more than 1 card with the same title on their turn. Navajo rubbings. When you fight the end, instead of drawing the strike, it gains the top card of the strike as a scar. Ooh, so this works the opposite way for them. Is yes, they might not gain a 4 or 5 out of it potentially, but they're going to gain a permanent, but they don't have to worry about healing ever, so it just makes them harder to take out. Regenerative instrument. Cancel any strike with one attack the end draws. Oh, so you have to do anything higher than a 1. And then lastly, we have classified documents. Players can only use attack or strikes on their turn, not both. Oh, so basically you can either attack or you can recruit, but you can't do both. So that's very interesting, especially if there might be other things to deal with. You can't deal with them or draw new cards. Very interesting. So yeah, these are kind of another neat aspect of the game too, because you have one that's gonna change what cards you can play, one that's how damage is dealt, one that's how damage is being dealt to you. And it's gonna change up the end boss every time. Like, I imagine this is like if you're playing against, if they made a thing like this similar to if you were playing the Alien game, you're fighting the Queen, right? Or that final Alien, right? And whatever cards you draw kind of shape-shifted how the alien did stuff. So that way it's here's the alien card you're always fighting. And it's going to have its own little unique thing every time based on which version you draw. but then here's all these modifications it might have. Same thing, they could have done something like that, like Predator would be interesting. Like, oh, it's got different trophies. And different trophies might either gain it, oh, it has experience to have extra health or this or that. So that'd be kind of a neat idea there. Alright, let's hop into our seasons. Alright, so on the bottom down here, every card will say, for the conspiracy deck, will say season, whatever number, and then A, B, or C. So seasons, 1 is A, 2 is B, and then 3 is C, and then it starts back over A, B, C. So it's 3, 4, or it's 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9. So I kind of want you to play. We're going to play a series of games. Play the first 3, then play the next 3, then play the last 3. But you can also mix them and match them in any order. But it's still always, it generally always wants you to go A, B, and then C. I'm guessing it's probably for increased difficulty. So the A cards are probably a little bit easier to defeat or deal with, and then the C cards are harder. So each set is also going to have 15 cards, which is going to have 1 ally. It's going to have 3 event cards, just kind of activate and then go away. And then it's going to have the last 11 will all be different enemies. So the allies are a really fun idea as well. So much like we had the syndicate enemies in the agency deck, or the academy deck, here we're going to have some allies here that pop up. So you defeat them, or you can recruit them and have them help you out. And all of them cost 0, so once they pop up, you can just go ahead and get them. So this is really helpful because it takes up a slot from pushing the shadows, plus it gets you a bonus card. So we have, if you choose to get it, we have Luther Lee Boggs, who is a science or an intellect character. So he has 1 recruit says activate, draw a card, or defeat a Scully card, or gain a defeated Scully card. So this is kind of helpful because, right, if you have Scully in your deck, it can let you gain a card that's been defeated. So that way you can either defeat it with one of your abilities or something else defeats it. Alright, our event cards are Time Loss. Choose a player to skip their next conspiracy and action phases. They may turn their avatar face down until the end of their next turn to help remember. Oh, it's just kind of mean. Make someone completely skip their turn. At least they don't have to, like, discard and redraw everything. Like, they're not losing out whatever hand they would have had. Alien Abduction. Defeat one of the team's characters with 1 or more attacks. So you just have to defeat somebody, which, again, is... Defeating is basically KOing them or removing them from the game. Cocooned. Each player puts the top of their character deck on the top of their academy. Oh, this is interesting, because this could technically end up... this could potentially end up putting either a doubt or a belief on the deck, or it could put a starter character on there. Because it does say character, but like if it's on the top of your deck, you don't know what it is. So it's right, it's just whatever card's on there. Alright, our Season 1 enemies are Eugene Victor Coombs. He's in the shadows. Enemies can't be fought if there are cards on both sides of him. Interesting. First defeat. Put this enemy on top of the enemy deck. He now has +2 attacks and becomes a 4. The Jersey Devil, who has ferocious. Each time this enemy strikes, if it's a miss, he strikes again. Spirit of Howard Graves. This is a spirit enemy. Ongoing. Other enemies can't be fought. So yeah, these guys aren't hard to defeat. It only costs 2. Recruit, but you're gonna make it hard to beat other guys. You have to deal with the cheapy guys. The COS, Central Operating System, which is a construct. Tech immunity. You can't use attack from your tech cards to fight this enemy. That's fun. Primordial Ice Worms. Alien creatures. Ongoing, this enemy can't be fought unless the coordinate card has been played this turn. So yeah, alright, look at it. So 1. It's not hard to beat, but you have to synergize with your team to do it. Astral Force, a spirit. Resolve your doubt. Invisible UFO pilot. Stealth. Enemy can't be fought in the shadows. Cecil Lively. Ranged enemy can strike from the shadows. The Manitow. Strike. If this enemy damages you with a flesh wound, it becomes an You become an enemy creature monarch with this power till the end of your next turn. Move your avatar to the field, skip your action and strike phases your next turn. You strike other players. Oh, that's cool. So that's why you get defense for your other things. Why some of these guys have defense stuff. And then finally we have Michelle Bishop. Human Spirit. Reveal game this card. Draw, put this card into the field. Interesting. So it comes out, just sits there, and then eventually will pop in and try and attack you. Neat. Alright, for Season 2, we have the Church of the Red Museum, which is a will ally. Gives you 3 attack. Ongoing. While allies in your hand or in play, you can't fight enemy creatures or spirits on your turn. Interesting. So he's actually gives you a good attack bonus, but there's a little bit of a hindrance part. Well, again, it says neat. They do cost 0, but you don't have to take them. So you might decide, oh, I don't need that. Let me let somebody else have them. We have an event. We have Dark Shadow. Defeat the top Academy character of the Academy. Each player defeats a card in their hand, deck, and discard pile at the same title. Oh, so just get rid of one entire card out of the game. LSDM. Next player who draws a strike. If that strike is not a miss, the player after that draws a strike. Continuing to go, each player has drawn a strike, or any player has drawn a miss. Ooh, that could hurt. Space Time Terror. Add a conspiracy card where this card was. Okay, neat. So this is going to add one anyhow. Alright, then we have the Flukeman. I think he's a very popular, well-known guy, a little fishman-y looking guy. He has Ambush, he just moved to the field. But guys, now they're starting to cost 4s and 6s, so they're becoming a lot harder to beat. Dwayne Barry, ongoing. Scully cards can't be played. Phyllis Paddock was 15 recruit to beat. Ongoing, you may defeat one or more of your characters with 3 or more to defeat this enemy. So basically, it's either you have to somehow get up to 15, or you have to sacrifice one of your cards to get rid of it. So I think that's a fun ability. Gregor Series Clone. Strike. This enemy strikes an additional time for each Gregor clone in the defeated enemy pile. Ooh, so the first one's not an issue. Then the harder, it's going to get harder and harder. And then we're going to get a second one of those. And a third one of those. Gonna make those guys pretty mean. The Conundrum. Reveal. Defeat each revealed character in the Bureau. Lanny and Leonard. Science Immunity. You can't fight using your science cards or red, and he has double strike, so it'll hit you twice. Fasciphagia Emasculatia. First defeat, gain this card. Draw. This enemy strikes you, then defeat it. It's a parasite bug that carries a parasite. Oh, it's a parasite bug that carries a parasite. That's kind of neat. It's the first time you defeat it, then you have to fight it a second time or deal with it. It's kind of a cool idea. Then we have the last one for Season 2. We have the Cannibal Strike. Put the top defeated enemy human face down beneath this enemy. It has +2 attack for each card beneath them. And then Intellect Vulnerability, you can't has -2 for each Intellect card you played this turn. Okay, so you have guys that are immunity, he has a vulnerability. So when he strikes you, he's going to get stronger and stronger, but then you can make him weaker. That's cool. These are some neat enemies. Alright, Season 3, we have Jeremiah Smith as an ally. He's a science. He's vigilant. This ally takes strikes instead of you. Ignore the text on them. When he has taken damage from strike equal to or greater than 4, defeat him. Nice. If you need someone else that needs a shield, he'd be a great one to get. We have the Time Bomb. Reveal. Leave this card revealed where it was. It moves like an enemy. Cleanup field. Clean up and on the field. Before you discard your cards, defeat one of your Academy characters, then defeat this card. Then ongoing, pay 6 to defeat the Time Bomb. So okay, either pay 6 to get rid of it, or if it gets to the field during the cleanup, defeat each of your Academy characters, then defeat this card. So basically, after you played your turn, if this is in the field, it's going to destroy your entire hand. That's not good. So you basically want to really get rid of that. Paranoid Delusions. Put the top 6 cards of your deck into your discard pile. Use the printed attack on those cards to fight the next player as many times as possible. Oh, that could be bad. These are some really nasty cards. Black Ops Team. Defeat the top 5 characters of the Academy. Cool. Alright, our enemies. The DPO, who has range and strike from the shadows. Enemy also strike the player to your left, to your right and your left. Oh, wow. Metallic Cockroaches. Ongoing. You can only use attack from cards with exactly 1 printed attack to fight this card. Interesting. So that might be tricky to do. William Patterson. Will vulnerability -2 recruit for each will you have played. And strike. Instead of striking normally, gain a doubt. Interesting. Yeah, he only has 9. But yeah, if you play some other cards, you can make him weaker. Jaguar Spirit. Revenge. This enemy strikes when it enters or is revealed in the field. Ravage. Sorry, not Revenge. Ravage. And Ferocious Strikes. If it's a miss, it strikes again. We have Pusher. Reveal. Move the rightmost card in the shadows 1 space. Makes sense. He's a pusher. Then get him off the board. Shaman Field. Enemy creatures in the field strike an additional time. Definitely make him a priority. 3 Masked Men, who have triple strike. 2 gray quote-unquote aliens. Leadership immunity. Can't use attack from leadership to fight this card. The Red Alien. Defeat each revealed human enemy in the shadows and in the field. Interesting. That's not, I guess, terrible, but it is cost 11 to beat. And then we have the Big Blue. First reveal, if the end game is still in the conspiracy deck, put this enemy directly on top of it. Oh, so you have to defeat him right away. Interesting. Yeah, crazy. So yeah, now they're getting up to 10s and that, so pretty crazy by the time you get to C's. Alright, we're gonna go to Season 4 to start back to A, so we'll have a little bit weaker characters to fight. Alex Kryak gives you 3 accrued enemies attack. Clean up of a syndicate enemies in the field or the bureau to defeat this ally. If he is in your hand or if you played him. So basically, yeah, if you don't defeat them, you're going to lose him pretty easily. Throwing in a Gulag event. Attach this card to your avatar. Your belief cards have no text. Any player may pay recruit equal to your defense to help you break out. You just can't do this. Each player resolves their doubt. Musings. Hide each card in the shadow. Oh, that could be bad. It took some time to unlock them all. The Peacock Brothers. Leadership vulnerability has -2 for each leadership played this turn. Samuel Odaiba, who has Ravage. The El Chupacabra. First defeat, shuffle this enemy into the strike deck. The current player becomes its nemesis. Draw. This enemy strikes you and its nemesis. You could both take strikes. Then defeat this enemy. Interesting. That's kind of neat. There's some really neat cards in here. Albert Tanner, Will Immunity, and First Defeat. Puts this enemy into the field. Jealous Tattoo. Construct Spirit. Ongoing. This enemy can't be fought. Ongoing. When you are dealt damage by a strike, if the total damage from the strikes you have taken strength equal or greater than into 2, defeat this enemy. Interesting. Golem. Reveal, puts the enemy in front of you. It strikes you during the strike phase, and only you can fight it. Nathaniel Teeter. Elude, gain 2 delves. This enemy is in the field at the end of any turn. Resolve its text, then defeat it. Commandos. Field, they get +2 attacks. If they survive that one, they get even stronger. Jason Nichols. Skip the next conspiracy phase if you defeat him. That's actually very helpful. And Eddie Von Blunt. Ongoing, this enemy's attack is equal to the highest attack among enemy humans. So he's normally 1, but if you get some certain people out there, he could become very bad. Oop. Alright. Season 5, which is a beast. This is the middle of the deck. Gibson Praise, ally. Intellect. Gives you 3 recruit. Clean up. The next player gains this ally. Oh, that's kind of neat. So just every turn is kind of pass around. Losing Faith. Each player defeats a belief in their discard pile. Each player that didn't have any gains a doubt. Undercover work. Hide each character in the bureau. Government denies knowledge. Shuffle this card into the Fidelity, Bravery, and Ingenuity space. Into the Academy, choose a random significant enemy from outside the game and add to that space, then reveal it. So you could have multiple cards stacked there. That's neat. Bark Creature. Stealth. Can't be fought in the shadows. Chinga Doll. Before you can fight this enemy, you must fight yourself. You must fight yourself this turn. Yeah, this is kind of neat because it's like something like this is like it costs 1, but you have to attack yourself first, take damage, and then you can spend 1 to take this character out. Or you just let it get to the field, but it's still going to be the same issue. Versus like Marvel Legendary. If it's an enemy that's too hard to defeat or has too big of a drawback, you might just let them escape and deal with the escape damage, which you could just discard a card. Depending on who you're fighting, that might be all they do. Is make you discard, maybe KO 1 card. So it's not as bad. These ones are a lot trickier. Robert Patrick Modell. Defeat, you may defeat another enemy with a total recruiting attack less than or equal to this enemy's total recruiting attack. Gelman's AI, Will Immunity, can't use recruit on that, Willpower Recruit. Ronnie Strickland, Swift, when you fight this enemy, strike you first, and tech vulnerabilities, so -2 for each tech played. Edward Skur, strike, defeat the top card of your deck. Aaron Starkey. Strike, defeat the top character of the Academy. Then your 4 Academy characters with different character names are in the defeated pile. Defeat this enemy. He has 666, so he's the devil. That's fun to do too, once in a while. This guy's Seraph, who has 100. Strike, defeat the highest recruit revealed character in the bureau. Then have 4 Academy characters with different character names are in the defeated pile. Defeat this enemy. Yeah, so it's crazy. These guys are kind of a pain. Biological weapon, enemy or construct creature. Revealed and on the field. This turn, instead of striking normally, this player strikes each player. And then the last one we have is Greg Pinicus. Clean up. Put the top card of the special agent deck into the field as an enemy creature. Pay 3 recruit to defeat her. Interesting. Yeah, so lots of really interesting stuff in here. Alright, Season 6, which is Part C, so the harder ones, you have Josh Exley, who's an alien, who has willpower, and 3 attack. Activate. Choose an enemy to change one of its types to another type, alien, construct, creature, human, spirit. Ooh, that's fun. The Bermuda Triangle attaches the space it was revealed in. The space no longer exists. If it was revealed in the field, put it in the leftmost space in the shadows, and move any cards into the field there. Oh, so it gets rid of a space out of the shadows, which means they just skip one every time. Body swap. Switch your avatar and it strikes with the next player after either of you resolves the belief. Switch back if able. If someone hasn't died. Look death in the face. Choose a card in a player's hand that has a class. Each player discards all cards of their hand with that class. Okay, just discarding, that's not so bad. German Army Mole, Shadow can't players can't recruit characters. Elude. Gain the top recruit or top science character of the Academy because enemy is in the field. At the end of any turn, resolve its text, then defeat it. German Army Officer, reveal each card in the bureau, then defeat each character in the bureau. Ongoing, when a science character is defeated, defeat this enemy. German Army Translator, reveal defeat a science character in the team's hand or discard piles. Who was the scientist? Wayne Wingsider, Science Immunity, and Reveal. Put the top 6 cards of your deck face down beneath this enemy as captured souls. Defeat, gain the captured souls. Just kind of steal some cards from you. Sea Monster, ambush when its enemy is revealed in the shadows, move it to the field. The Ubermensch. Reveal you are the enemy's creator. Ongoing, the enemy has -1 for each damage on its creator. Oh, so yeah. Interesting. So it's 12 to begin with. The Hooded Man. Choose a random defeated event and play it. Dr. Deweiler. On the field has +5. Oh, so you need to definitely take him out before he gets to the field. Mind Control Drug. Intellect Immunity and Will Immunity. That's going to be a little bit trickier. And then we have the Mushroom Organism. Stationary. So this one doesn't move. But it has Swift. When you fight this enemy, it strikes you first. Alright, so those are our first 2 sets of stories. Now we have Season 7, so we're starting back with A. We have Frank Black, who has a leadership. And Activate. Attach this ally to an empty space in the shadows. When a hidden card enters that space, you may reveal it. Cleanup. If there is a revealed enemy or endgame ally in the space, defeat this ally. Failing mental health. Choose up to 2 players to gain 2 total doubts. Romantic complications. Choose another player to discard 2 random cards from their hand. Snakes. Choose a player to draw a strike. Then do it again. You can choose the same player twice. For our enemies, we have Max Harden, who has Ambush and Swift. Henry Weems. Ongoing, when you use a class ability to defeat this enemy. So, you know, a cheaper way to take him out. Donald Fiester. Frightening. To fight this enemy, you must first discard a card. The Amazing Malini. When you fight this enemy, shuffle it and the top card of the conspiracy deck together. Reveal 1 at random where this enemy was and put the other back on top of the conspiracy deck face down. If you reveal this enemy, defeat it, otherwise the fight is over. Interesting. So you might have to fight him multiple times. Material, Science, Vulnerability, and Range. Orel Pleiades. Reveal this enemy strikes Scully. So there's a lot of cards in here that specifically deal with Scully. I haven't seen too many cards that have set any of the other characters. Ellen Adderley. Intellect Immunity. The Lazarus Bowl. Elude. Put the top defeated enemy card into the field. If this enemy is in the field, at the end of any turn, resolve the text, then defeat it. Jen. It's a spirit. Make a wish, but choose wisely. Knowledge. Draw 2 cards, discard 2 random cards from your hand. Power. Gain a belief and a doubt. Freedom. Set Jen free. Put her outside the game. Put the top card of the conspiracy deck here hidden. So if you don't defeat her, then you have to fight her again. Interesting. So it might be worth it not having to fight her. Rob Roberts. Strike. Defeat the card. Top card of the special agent deck. Alright. Season 8. Part B. We have Soul Eater as a will ally. Gives you 2 attack. Activate. Look to the strike deck and discard any strike from it. Nice. Get rid of a beefy strike. Time reverses. Reverse the conspiracy, action, strike phases for the next player's turn. The order will be strike, action, conspiracy, then cleanup. Interesting. So they're going to get hit first, potentially if there's anybody out there. Then they get a play of their card. Then you reveal a character. Interesting. Fallen Friend. First reveal, the team defeats its highest cost character. You settle ties, then shuffle this event into the academy. Second reveal, you gain that character. So they revive themselves. Paranormal Activity. Choose a random defeated enemy without looking at it and put it where this was hidden. Spinal Parasite. Strike. Attach this enemy to your avatar while attached it doesn't strike. Any player can fight it, but you can't recruit characters, stand, or fight other enemies. Interesting, that sucks. Dangly Dream. Ferocious and strike. Instead of striking normal, this enemy strikes your highest attack card, Circling Ties. Draw a strike, and if its attack is equal or greater than the card's printed attack, defeat it. Either way, discard the strike. The AAA-1 Sure Kill Exterminators. The AAA-1 Sure Kill Exterminators. Range and strike. Beggarman. Reveal, put the top defeated enemy on top of this enemy as its host. The host has no text and doesn't strike. Ongoing. You can't fight this enemy until its host is defeated. Smart Metal Man. Strike. This enemy doesn't strike, dodge it. Medusas. Choosing an academy character in a discard pile that has the same title as another card there. Defeat all cards with that title. A New Man. Defeat the top card of a conspiracy deck where this enemy was, then reveal it. The Burning Figure. Frightening and leadership immunity. Radiation Man. Reveal. Each player discards each of their will cards. Players can't play will cards this turn. And our final one of that is a Reptile Creature who has range and ravage. Alright, for our final season 9, we have card C. Mr. Burt, who is a leadership character. Recruit 3, activate. Choose a number of enemies. Choose a number. Enemies with that amount of attack or recruit can't strike this turn. Nice. Not bad. Parallel Dimension. Team discards from their hands one card with each of the 4 starting Academy characters' names. Starting Academy characters' names. So this would be the 4 base characters. So, like, whatever 4 characters you pick for your deck, you just gotta defeat one of each. Gotcha. Amnesia. Reveal. Put this card into the field. Cleanup. Instead of discarding your hand, shuffle them and put them on top of your deck, then discard this card. For his own good, defeat the top Academy character of the Academy. Look through the Academy and defeat each other card the same character name there, then shuffle the Academy. So a lot of, like, making you lose a lot of your cards in this set. Joseph Kobold. Frightening and ongoing. The enemy has +1 attack for each card in the current player's discard pile. Getting Loken's Guard. Strike. Instead of striking normally the top 6 cards of the strike deck, take one of the strikes with the most damage, discard the rest. Hidden UFO. Revealed. Shadows. Hide this enemy. Elude. Defeat each enemy in the field. If this enemy is in the field at the end of any turn, resolve its test and then defeat it. Jeffrey Spender. Reveal. Put this enemy beneath the leftmost card in the bureau. Ongoing. This enemy can't be fought while beneath this card. Cards can't be added to the space. Ongoing. During the conspiracy phase, he moves beneath the card space to the right. If he ever enters the Academy, you lose the game. Ooh. So this is kind of neat. So he pops into the left spot, and then he keeps moving over. So yeah, you have to defeat something in his thing, whether it's an enemy in his area or a card. That's kind of a neat effect. Kidnapper. Reveal. Put your highest cost character beneath this card as a captive. Defeat it, gain the captive. And then elude. A Deadly Virus. Double Strike, Lethal, and Strike. So I don't think we've actually seen Lethal yet. I think Lethal just straight up kills you. When a card with Lethal strikes, if it deals damage, you are defeated. Treat with caution. And this just to do a double strike. A striker may pay 2 to cancel each of its enemy's strikes. So basically, if he attacks you, you need to pay both times, because if he hits you at least once, you automatically lose the game. Or your character's out, which means you lose. Oh, sorry. We have a black helicopter who has stealth and range. Oliver Martin, Brady Bunches. This enemy has -2 for each pair of 1 male and 1 female characters you played this turn. Why are you people still watching a 30-year-old TV show? Calabarero. Clean up, hide each other enemy in the shadows in the field. Shuffle each of those cards and then deal back out to the same spaces. Oh, so it mixes everything up on you. And then Parallel Dimension. Tech immediate and ongoing. You can only fight this enemy if you play the exact 2 cards of the same name characters this turn. Alright, so that was all 9 seasons worth of cards. So then the last thing we have to look at is the endgame cards. Before I jump into that, just a quick note on the cards. So they don't currently have any actual expansions out. There might be some fan-made ones. I can definitely see this could be very interesting to make some expansions. Maybe adding some extra stuff into the other seasons, or even picking up the last couple of seasons. It only goes through 9. I think there was 11 seasons. Plus the movie, seeing if they did like an expansion that was the last 2 seasons, then the movie. Again, or just even coming back in. There's probably a bunch of stuff that got missed from that. But it could be kind of neat if they added a little extra expansion. Or did something similar like what Aliens did, where they kind of have like their own made-up story they did. With that one, they did one which only started. It'd be kind of neat if they're like, oh, here's some like alternate story we have with things, and then maybe just use some of the characters and references. You know, don't have to call it like season whatever, just but you could label it as like, you know, like side story or whatever, 1, 2, and 3, A, B, and C, because that would give you more stuff to add in there, another full story to play. You could add in a few more characters, but I even see it being neat if like they added in alternate versions of Mulder and Scully, because they're the 2 main characters there in pretty much every season. So it'd be neat if they even made like an extra deck with them. Like you got like 6 characters or 5 characters. Have them have like 3 brand new characters. It'd be kind of neat. Yeah, new leads, you with things. Just some of that stuff would be kind of cool. Alright, let's hop into the end of the game. So when these guys come in, this is what you ultimately have to defeat, the end games. So they're going to have how much defense, this is how much attack you have to do to deal 1 strike. Draw a strike, and then you have to deal that much damage to them. So the infection has 10 health. Doesn't take much to deal damage, only 3, but it's going to take a bunch to actually take them out. It says it's cleanup. After you draw a new hand, if you need to shuffle your deck, gain a symptom. Cleanup. When you draw a new hand, draw 1 fewer card for each symptom you have. So eventually, as you get through this deck, this is going to be harder and harder to beat. Because of the fact that it's going to be like, you're going to keep drawing less and less cards every turn, until eventually, you're not going to be able to draw any cards. After your 5th, if you somehow have this out and you somehow survive long enough to get 5 hands through, you're not going to be able to draw any cards. The other thing to keep in mind on this is we could get stuff like the priorities of our evidence. We could get something that makes it +2, which makes it harder to beat. You know, like that one's going to be more on that one. Some of the other ones are like getting them the extra stuff, or making their cards not like making the card like not as good. So now you're drawing 4 cards instead, and then you get, oh, none of my yellow cards work. So now I only have 3 cards I can use. Make it a lot harder to do stuff on that turn. We have colonization. There's a 4 and a 12. Reveal. Shuffle 10 random defeated enemies together to make a new conspiracy deck. Cleanup. If the conspiracy deck is empty, defeat each player. Oh, so it gives you basically 10 turns to beat it now. Replication with a 2 and 11. Reveal. Hide the clone endgame in the space to the right. Hide the clone endgame in the space to the right of this endgame. It gets its own hidden evidence and of each type that wasn't collected. Interesting. So hide the clone endgame. There was something in here specifically how this worked. So there's the clone endgame. So you want to look at this quick. It says, this endgame is really 2 cards in one. When replication revealed, put the clone endgame card face down in 1 space to the right of the replication card. If replication is in the field, put the clone in the leftmost space in the shadows. If it is the rightmost space in the shadows, put the clone above the conspiracy deck space. And above the playmat, put a random hidden evidence from outside the game of each type that is replicating the endgame. That's priority 1, 2, and or 3. Reveal the clone's evidence when the clone is revealed. So have 3 more evidences that'll make it harder to beat. Of whatever's available. So yeah, if you're fighting it and let's say you collected 1 and 2, so you only have 3 left, and then it's just going to gain its own 3 that you have to fight. So then now you have to beat 2 of these with whatever potential differences are. The only thing that's going to be different will be the different evidences to fight. Interesting. Infiltration, 7 and a 6. So a lot higher, but a lot less health. Reveal, shuffle each syndicate enemy from outside the game into the academy. Ongoing, at the start of each turn, reveal each hidden card in the bureau and defeat each character there. Strike, instead of striking normally, this endgame strikes once for each syndicate enemy in the bureau. So basically what you're going to do is try and just fill up your bureau with the syndicate enemies so it can strike you multiple times every time. Disinformation with an 8 and a 4, so a lot harder to fight, but doesn't have a lot of health. Strike, gain a doubt, then if the doubt stack is empty, defeat each player. Ongoing, when a player resolves the doubt card, they put it in their discard pile instead of defeating it. Oh, that's mean. Purification, a 6 and an 8. Ongoing, players can't be healed. Ongoing, at the end of the lowest ranking player's turn, this endgame heals one of its strikes with 1. It's just going to keep kind of healing itself while you can't be healed. The Assassination, which says 11, but it only has 1 health. Lethal, when this game strikes you, if it deals damage, you're defeated. Now, luckily with the endgame, even if a character is defeated, you get to keep playing. But, again, if it's a 4-5 player game, it only needs to attack 4 or 5 times to defeat everybody. It's going to strike every turn, and there's very few cards that let you just avoid strikes. So pretty much, you're going to have to try and defeat this as quickly as possible. And then the last one is Extinction. So ongoing is a 5 and a 9. It says if a player would discard one of their cards, defeat it instead. Ongoing, when a player has no cards in their deck, discard pile, and hand, they're defeated. I don't know if discarding at the end of your turn during cleanup counts as this. The game will also end if defeated vigilant cards that you game will also defeat vigilant cards. If you have no cards in your hand deck, but you do have vigilant cards, you're still defeated. So you can't keep those guys out as a way of doing it. But it doesn't specify if you're technically discarding when you redraw your hand during cleanup phase. Alright, that is what we have for the X-Files Legendary Encounters game. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, this series of videos. Check out the other Legendary games if you haven't, the other Encounters, which we've done, which are Alien, Predator, and Firefly. Then you also check out James Bond, which kind of runs the line between an Encounter game and a regular Legendary game. Otherwise, we have Legendary Buffy, as well as all the Marvels. There's like 50 sets out there. Yeah, any other games you'd like me to check out or anything else, hit me up in the comments. See you guys later. Bye.